Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And by JGP Janitorial, lose the mop, they'll clean the slop. JGP Janitorial, 548-1221.
And now, Radio K-Man presents The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Radio K-Man's Business Buzz. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, K-Man, and happy Halloween! Today is October 31st. It is one of my favorite days of the year. It's always been like that my whole life. I did not come in costume this morning. I was planning to come in costume, a bit of a costume for today's show, but time always escapes me. But I hope everybody out there is going to have a great Halloween. If you're trick-or-treating, have a great time. Enjoy it. Man, go out there and do it. I miss those moments, and as an adult in my 40s, I still very much would do that. So if you don't want to go trick-or-treating with your children, I will. I will go with them. No problem at all. Just give me a call. Love that. Absolutely love Halloween. It's so much fun. So everybody have a great Halloween day. This morning on The Business Buzz, I'm happy to welcome Alfredo Whittaker, who is the president of CIFA. Good morning, Alfredo. How are you doing?
Good morning. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to you. We both didn't come in costume.
No, good to be here.
It's good to have you here. Thank you. I think last time, I don't know if it was on the Business Buzz. I can't remember if it could have been on Talk Today when I was filling in that I had a long conversation with you, and it was a great discussion then. So I'm looking forward to what you're going to share with us this morning. And I know there's been some big developments in CIFA, especially with the men's team.
A lot of good news and a lot of satisfaction with the men's and recently with the girls. So we're very, very happy, very content, and looking forward to the future.
Absolutely. Well, let us know what's going on. What's the big news?
Well, as we all know, recently our senior men national team was promoted from Group C in the CONCACAF to Group B. That is a great achievement for us. We also managed to win our first World Cup qualifiers ever in the history of the Cayman Islands.
Congratulations. That's really huge.
It is very, very huge. And when you look at the age group of these senior men national teams that are not really that senior,
right,
the future for us is promising. We hope to put programs and development together so we could keep this group for at least another 5 to 6 years. That's the age group that we're looking at. And our big step now is first time to playing towards the Gold Cup. That is another big satisfaction, big success for us.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I think that's a huge thing to win your first World Cup qualifier. Is a big thing. So what's the next step now?
Well, the next step for us immediately is to have that play-in that will take place early next month. The first game would be in the Cayman Islands on the 15th, and then we have to travel to Guadeloupe on the 19th. So this is our immediate.
This is the next stage in the World Cup qualifiers.
This is the next stage of the Gold Cup qualifiers.
Oh, sorry, of the Gold Cup qualifiers.
Right.
Okay.
Nations League.
Okay.
And then the team will continue to prepare for the next step of the World Cup qualifiers. That would be June 2025.
Okay. So the next step for the World Cup qualifiers, that's going to be in June. So that's a good 7-8 months away almost. Okay,
yeah,
it's not bad.
It looked far away, but it's not really far away.
So what's your preparation for that then? Because you have the Gold Cup up next, but then you also have the World Cup qualifiers after that.
Yeah, well, the team haven't stopped training from we begin the preparation for these games. So now we're looking at the next FIFA window that would be in March, and see where we could take the team for that training camp that is important for us. Friendly matches, a week together somewhere. Hopefully we manage to secure something again in Europe. that is where we're going. We're a small country, but
Why do
I
you look
think
for somewhere else to go for a training camp?
for me personally, um, I think we have seen too much of the Caribbean. I want the young players to see something different, to be in a different environment, to have that view of what really professionals look like, and at some point, hopefully, we could implement it in the Cayman Islands. Here is a little bit or a lot difficult to go through all of that because obviously we don't have a professional league, we don't have these major sponsors, but the players that are going to school and our local based players have that feelings, and at some point they start to take care of themselves in a better way. They start to do things different, and that is what we're seeing on the field of play. That's the success that we've been having or enjoying so far.
Okay, excellent. When you say it's not a professional league, sometimes I'm a little confused by that because I understand that it's not a professional league, but you have your national team members who I would assume are considered pro for your country.
Well,
It's such a weird
it's not
way of kind of describing it.
right. When we talk about a professional league, is where the players can focus only on playing football, where every month the club would give them a good salary.
Right.
We're not talking anymore about $2,000 or $3,000. We're talking about good salary.
Right.
$7,000-$10,000, where they could focus only on playing football and preparing for that. There is a lot of people in a very irresponsible way talk about having a semi-professional league or professional league in the Cayman Islands. It's very difficult. We, at this point, the games are free of charge, and we don't get 2,000 people
Right.
at any given time, and these are free of charge.
So when you say it's very difficult, can you describe what those, I guess, barriers are, what the difficulties are?
Well, first of all, the stadiums, the stadium have to be rebuilt, I would say.
Yeah.
They need to have a better seating capacity. We need to have emergency access. We need to have a lot of little dots there that have to be certified by not only by our local body but also by FIFA international standards. So we could consider having international, not only international games, but all of our stadiums should have that qualified standard. Example, small details for any one of any spectators that have difficulties to walk or on wheelchair and stuff. We don't have a proper ramp
Right.
or
Okay.
or a facility where they could come to the games and have this special space for them to be comfortable and watch the game.
Right.
We don't have emergency exit,
Right.
in case of any situation
Right.
on the field. We don't have proper access for ambulance and paramedics and so forth. So there is a number of things that we have to look into to move to that step. And then the big one and the most important one is sponsorship. We need some major sponsors, because now we're going to talk about insurance for players, insurance for the fields, and different clause there in contract. So is something that you have to look into and try to implement.
And there's, as you said, there's not enough spectators that come, and the games are free at the moment.
Unfortunately,
And a lot of the revenue raised usually in other places is going to come through entrance fees
most of it come from
and sponsorship.
television rights, sponsorship. Now, most important teams are moving towards ownership. So you have this big multimillionaire person that would come and say, I want to buy this team, and
Right.
just turn it around,
Pump some money into them and
put some money into
Yeah.
it. But we work with what we have, and I'm pretty sure there is some ideas for the future. CIFA having been a easy house to clean and to organize.
not at all. You've had a lot on your shoulders to deal with over the past decade or so, I would say, with CIFA.
A lot.
So.
Little by little, we had managed to clean the house. We had managed to open curtains, and at this point, we're looking at buying some furnitures
Okay.
for CIFA to be a very pleasant place for the welfare of football, for our young athletes that are coming up, and for the future generation of those that would be in charge of taking this association where it's supposed to maintain, not to be. We get in there. Me and my team had worked really hard in getting it done. We get in there, and then I think I could sit back and play with my little Talia and enjoy her growing up, and come to the games and sit down from a distance and watch and just see what was done.
That time will come, but you got work to put in still, Mr. Whittaker, and you're putting that work in. That's for sure.
There is
That is
there
for
is
sure.
there is a lot of work. Recently, finally, we get the approval from the planning department to start the building of our new home of football, I would call it. So
When you say home of football, what do you is it an office or is it a field, stadium? What are we looking at?
football home is fields.
Okay.
So the immediate project is to build 2 additional fields that would have the two full-size field, a part of the one that we have.
Where are these fields
that we
going?
exist in, right there in Prospect.
Okay. It's replacing the...
That's where,
okay.
Fortunately for us, it's going to be indoor. This is something that...
Oh, it's going to be an indoor facility.
When I say indoor, is in our own property. We're going to have...
Your definition of indoor was interesting.
Yeah, I know. My apologies. My apologies.
So it's going to be on the grounds.
On the ground, 2 full-size field, the existing field that we have.
But it won't be covered or, I guess, walled per se. Or will it be covered?
That's a surprise. It will be. Put it this way, it would be very comfortable.
Okay.
So these fields have illumination, very good illumination,
Okay.
up to standard. The existing field is the pitch would be upgraded to a much better artificial turf.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's so important.
Much better artificial
But
turf.
don't players prefer natural grass?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why
why artificial turf over the natural
Because
grass?
the location that we have there is almost impossible to grow grass and to maintain it.
Okay.
It's a very salty area, very, very difficult to work.
Okay.
But I believe in God, and God had blessed me and my executive committee that the plan that we have there turned out to be better than what we had expected. Right, so we pretty much fulfill that step 1. The filling of the land was something that we thought was impossible, and it turned out to be very possible.
So hold on. I don't know if you can answer this, and because I also don't know your timeline with CIFA as well. But when that land was first being looked at before being purchased, or I don't know if it was purchased or gifted or whatever, but was that not something that was considered? That this land is not ideal for us to be here whatsoever, or?
I cannot answer for the
Okay.
persons that was involved in that transaction.
Gotcha.
My belief was that they saw this big land, the opportunity of a lease for 99 years of $1 per year or whatever it was, and they just take it.
Gotcha. Okay.
At the time, a lot of things changing came on.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not really going to criticize that.
Hey, I gotta ask because it's
for us to
you make
drive,
a great point, and I'm like,
for us to
hold on.
drive from Ale Thompson to Kamana Bay, we never saw it possible, and it is a nice drive now.
Mm-hmm.
I live in North Sunny State. For me to drive through that bypass, I would never imagine it. And now we have 2-lane going and 2-lane coming.
I feel you, yeah.
So
things and change is possible.
I'm very happy for the decision that was made. I had my views. Fortunately for me, my views towards that land is it would be a reality, and that is my satisfaction.
And we're getting there.
We expect for mid-2025 to have the 2 fields finished.
Okay, wonderful.
Maybe before. And then we also would have a mini stadium that would belong to the Cayman Island Football Association. Nothing big, but very comfortable. 1,200, 1,400 seating capacity.
That's excellent.
Good. And then...
Well, that mini stadium, where would that be?
Right there.
Same place.
Same place.
Yeah, that Prospect Field
Yep.
area. Okay. We got to go to a commercial break right now. And when we come back, we will continue the discussion with Alfredo Whittaker from CIFA.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
This Halloween, prepare for a ghoulishly good time at Cayman Crystal Caves. It's the Halloween costume extravaganza. Come in your best costume and join our competition with categories for both adults and kids. Win prizes like one night at Moritz, a 1-year pass to Cayman Crystal Caves for 2, and a Stingray City day trip. For just $49, adults can explore the haunted Batcave, enjoy a barbecue buffet, and sip on a complimentary drink. And for the little monsters ages 4 to 12 is just $15, inclusive of a Batcave tour and a Spooky Treats buffet. It all happens on Halloween night from 6:30 to 11 p.m. But don't forget to join us during the day for the pumpkin carving competition starting at 11:30 a.m. For more spooky details, visit CaymanCrystalCaves.com or call 949-2283.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and in studio I have Alfredo Whittaker, president of CIFA. Alfredo is giving us some updates on what's going on with CIFA, and he was just telling us that hopefully mid-2025 there's going to be at least 2 new football fields erected and a stadium.
Well, the stadium will take a little bit more time.
Okay.
But for sure the fields will be ready.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we like this. I think this is great. Alfredo also touched on the very beginning of the show with the senior men's team winning their first World Cup qualifier game in history for the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. That's a huge thing.
That's a big one.
You're talking about hopefully bringing the team to a training camp in Europe earlier in 2025.
March.
Do you know where? Have you been kind of narrowing down, or are you allowed to share that info right now?
Well, we don't have a specific as yet.
Okay.
Early this year, we sent the team to Turkey. So they had a couple of games in Turkey that went really well.
What part of Turkey?
I don't remember exactly where they went. But they played a couple of games in Turkey. And
that's a pretty amazing experience.
It was. And, well, recently, the girls, for the first time, had managed to get a little European trip also. So they just came out from Portugal. That was very successful for them. So
also amazing. What a great opportunity.
We're doing things not a little different, a lot different. And the players are enjoying it. At the end of the day, it's all about the players.
What's their feedback from these training camps? Do they let you know, hey, this is a lot different than the training camps we've gone to within the Caribbean? Do you notice a difference with the players as well?
Absolutely. Is more motivation. When we go on these training camps, we could control exactly what they eat, their resting time, and the active time. When we have them back home, it's difficult to control that.
Why?
Because when it's time for them when they get hungry, they're going to eat whatever.
That sounds like me.
Right?
I understand that.
When you say curfew at 10, it's curfew at 10. Here, the kids would just go to bed at 11. Some have a different regime, so they would go to bed earlier. But by being active in training, playing, traveling, is more controllable, the curfew time. And then we could say that on the field of play.
I understand that because it's like a focus group on something, and almost like a retreat when an office or a company will take their staff on a retreat, really to focus and hone in on something. So it's taking away all those other distractions and keeping everybody together to focus on one main priority, which is that training camp.
And for the coaches, they would get to identify players' behavior.
Okay.
Players that you need to tighten up a little bit more. Players that they would be a good leader in the group. So these training camp is good for absolutely everything.
And I'm sure you see skills emerge out of players within training camps that you might not see, overseas training camps that you might not have seen locally.
Yes, that's where you see that
pull. Something sometimes just gets pulled out of you when it's in you as an athlete.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just how that development happens.
You take them completely out of the comfort zone. In this case, the girls is a pretty young team. We have players as young as 14, 15 years old that we already have them involved with the senior team. So it's important for them to start to have these kind of experience. So when we have to compete locally, they don't have those butterflies. They will always have butterflies, but there would be a smaller butterfly.
Right.
So early next year, February, we have U17 World Cup qualifiers in a complicated group, but we think we could do extremely well with the preparation that we are giving the girls.
But the women's team have had great success over the past few years as well, right? So when you say complicated group, I guess what are the challenges or the most challenging teams that Cayman is looking to face, if you know that?
Yeah, absolutely. We the big team for us in our group is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico have the fortune for them that most of their players are based in schools and universities throughout the U.S.
Okay.
So they're always in active competition at a different level than what we have here.
Okay.
We experiencing in the Cayman Islands a decrease in teams that want to develop the women's game. So right now,
You're seeing a decrease.
Decrease, yes. Right now at the youth level, we only have Academy Sports Club, Elite Sports Club, Sunset, and 345 that have these women program. The rest of the teams do not have women's program. So it's a small pool.
That's four. That's only four.
That's four. It's a very small pool.
And what did it used to be?
Sorry, and I'm missing Fusion. Fusion is the other one. So it's 5.
Okay.
But we don't have clubs that would have, we don't have 10 clubs that would have a U13, U15, U17.
And we used to have more clubs.
We used to have more female football playing.
I find that very interesting because there's, as I said, there's been a lot of success within the women's senior team. We have, and I might get the names wrong, but isn't there a young lady, Molly
Clijo,
okay,
yeah.
Thank you.
She,
yeah, for example, isn't she away in Europe?
She's doing
with some team training.
Extremely well. She's one of our.
And she's one of I think a couple or a few.
She's the first professional female to sign a professional contract in Wales.
Oh, I didn't even know she was professional. Okay, that's amazing.
She is professional.
Okay.
Her club was very successful. She played Champions League. They
Wow.
win the local competition. She win the a couple of times the player of the week or the player of the month. She's
amazing.
She's amazing. She's a complete athlete. She play rugby. She do 5K. She play football. She's great.
Okay, and now she's only got to focus on football.
Yep.
No more rugby for you, Molly.
No more rugby.
You can do what pays you right now.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Absolutely.
But so something like that, something like her success story, and I know that there's been a couple of other Caymanians that have had chances to play professionally or semi-professionally in football from the women's side. So when I look at that, I always looked up to women athletes as a younger cat. I absolutely did. It was not a whole lot of them to look up to, but when there was, especially within your community. So having young women like Molly who are doing so great and have accomplished what they have and still have their entire life ahead of them, really, that would be such an inspirational thing to have to look at. And so I would assume that something like that would be growing the football teams, that young girls would be like, oh man, that could be me. So it's interesting that you say there's a decrease when we are seeing such great improvement and strides within the women's team.
Yeah, unfortunately, is like that.
What do we got to do? How do we make it more, I guess, accessible for people to join? And I think there's already great programs out there that are open to everybody.
We don't have much media coverage in the Cayman Islands.
Alfredo, come on. What about us? We take care of you.
If it wasn't because of you, a lot of things wouldn't be known.
Wow.
You know, we don't have a television station.
It's coming back.
Where we could show highlights of what is taking place.
That's true.
Right? The couple newspaper that we have is only 2, and they're so saturated with different activities that is taking place.
Yeah.
Right? So the ideal situation would be like in other countries. Baseball time in the U.S., you open, there is 3 pages of baseball, there is like 10 or 15 pages of just sports. We don't have that luxury here. Right. So there is some obstacles that we have. We have to depend on our social media. Instagram and Facebook and our CIFA page, right? So a lot of things that is taking place, we don't have enough coverage to do it on a day-to-day basis. So is work to be done.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot of work to be done.
We got to go to our next commercial break. I'm a little late for that. Let's go to a commercial break and then we'll wrap our segment.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future,
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance,
or protecting your family's household investment.
from our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Reflections annual countdown to Christmas sale is on now. Ladies, save 50 to 75% off selected fashion clothing, selected Adidas, Puma, and Nike sneakers discounted from 25 to 50% off. Make your gift giving super easy this year by getting Reflections gift certificates for everyone on your list. Converse kicks starting at $25 and bargains galore throughout the store. Guys, cargo pants, big and tall, $5.50. Levi's and selected Docker pants, 25% off. Every purchase above $49 at Reflections gives you the opportunity to win 2 free tickets to any Cayman Airways destination of your choice. Open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Shop Reflections on Shen Road beside the Mango Tree.
See yourself in Reflections.
Reflections, always driving down prices.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining. The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller. Business Buzz.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and I'm sitting in studio with Alfredo Whittaker, president for CIFA. Alfredo has given us so much information. Man, I love the info. I love the discussion that we're having. I think it's a great one. So thank you for taking the time this morning on Halloween morning to talk with us and give us an update on what's going on with CIFA. And at the very beginning of the show, we did talk about how great the men are doing, that they won their first World Cup qualifier game in history for the Cayman Islands. And right now, I guess the Gold Cup is what's happening, is what we're preparing for. And from what I understand, the Gold Cup, and please correct me or just interrupt me and say, no, Kathy, let me explain this properly. But the Gold Cup is part of the Nations League, the CONCACAF Nations League?
The Nations League lead to the teams that would qualify to the Gold Cup.
Okay. And
But
the
you
Gold
good.
Cup is
You're
our version of the Euros,
That's
this side of
correct.
the world.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So this is how I try to understand
You're good.
what's going on in football.
Very good.
All right, thank you. I'm trying here. So with the Gold Cup coming up, this is what I'm a little confused about, because did we advance from a certain stage in the Gold Cup, or whatever that league is that we're leading to the Gold Cup?
It's called the Nations League.
Okay,
And
thank
the
you.
Nations League is you're seeded according to your position in the CONCACAF ranking,
Okay,
right? So you have A, B, and C. The Group C is the teams that have less points, or the put it this way, the small teams,
Okay.
right? So we've been sitting in that Group C for quite some time because of the success that we had recently, and by becoming the second place in the group in the qualifiers that we'd recently had, we gain a direct promotion to Group B,
Okay.
and also the possibility of having this play-in that would put us in the final stage of all the other teams to qualify directly to the Gold Cup.
Okay.
So now the play-in is against teams that finish second from the Group B, C, and is a home and away game. So fortunately for us, we have to play against Guadeloupe.
You said fortunately.
Fortunately, yes.
Okay.
When you start to grow, for you, the best way to manage or to see where you at is playing against teams that are above you. Okay, so Guadeloupe is a top team. Guadeloupe is a very strong team. All of us know that Guadeloupe is a strong team.
I didn't know that. In the Caribbean, Guadeloupe is...
Yeah.
Okay.
When it comes to Guadeloupe, Martinique, Suriname, right? They have, and even Curacao, they have direct access to get players from Division 1 in the French league, right? Players from Division 2 in the French league. They have a lot of academies from these professional teams in their country.
Now, I know why, because you explained this in one of our breaks, but please explain this for our listeners. Why do they get access to the Division 1 French players?
They're not considered, or they're not like, they don't have the immigration status like we have in Cayman, like the Cayman Islands, Bermuda, recently Barbados. That we are British territory, but when it comes to football, we're independent. We have our own association. Our affiliation to FIFA and CONCACAF is not related to the English FA. These countries had refused to, for many years, to separate themselves from the French or the France Football Federation. So they're still covered under one umbrella. So these countries are not allowed to participate in World Cup qualifiers. They are not allowed to participate in different competitions. So they're under the umbrella of CONCACAF. If CONCACAF did not allow them to participate in our competitions, all of these players these countries would never have no football, put it that way. They would have competition that have no sense. Right. So they are guest countries with all the rights of participation in CONCACAF only competitions, and at club level with the CFU, that the Caribbean Football Union club competition, they also are guest countries. So it's good for us, right? It's good for us to play against these countries. It's good for our players to play against players that supposedly, I don't believe in it, are on a better standard than us. Football is round, anything could happen.
You know, that's one of my least liked sports analogies. The ball is round. Anything can happen. I'm like, well, that's why it's a ball, guys. It's
yeah.
round.
in sports, any top club going to have a bad day.
Absolutely. But
right?
you have to bounce back from that bad day.
And as mentioned earlier, as a believer, if David knock out Goliath, anything could happen.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I like your
Right.
faith. You need to have
So,
it.
first of all, I'm very proud of the group. I'm excited about the group. When I look at these boys, the unity that they have, the individual characters that they have is remarkable. I haven't seen it in a long time. The last time I had seen a group like that was a group that I was, fortunately for me, I was part of, and that national team in my days did extremely well. But we only had, we had at least like 7 leaders on that group, and this group start to show 1, 2, 3 of them, and I'm sure it would grow, and it would. They only could get stronger.
So you're seeing a lot of leadership emerge.
Very much so.
That's a beautiful
Yeah,
thing to
it
see.
is.
Yeah.
And these are young leaders, right? So is good for us. It's really, really good for us.
If you could talk about any outstanding performances in the last qualifier, any the moments that really stood out to you, or any players that you just thought did outstanding, if you could highlight anything like that. We've got a last couple minutes to go.
I would be unfair if I highlight an individual, but what gave me goosebumps is the World Cup qualifier that we have here, that we had against Antigua and Barbuda. The team was playing so well, and we was knocking on the door. We couldn't get the goal, and in the 87th minute, right, that amazing header from this Joshua he's just 16 years old. We just had him in our U20 qualifiers, and that was a moment. Joshua Campbell, by the way. So that is the one that I have there. I look tough, but these things make me very emotional.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I had my moment of tears of joy.
Yeah.
I look at his mom, and she's a unique mom. She have 3 boys, and all 3 of them is part of the national team.
Oh wow.
That is very unique.
Yeah, awesome.
Right. So all
Awesome.
of these good stories that we have.
I like how she triples her chances of happiness
Yeah.
in each game.
So to watch the coach run towards the players and to look at the spectators that went that day to the stadium and see that happiness, and at some point take a look at those that did not believe and those that one way or the other tried to bring the program down by negative
we don't
comments.
focus on them.
We don't focus on
We
them.
don't
But
focus on them.
just to look at the face was.
I love them because they'll talk about you, but they'll come and
Yeah.
they'll support and they'll listen.
So
Those are the best fans.
was a great evening,
Yeah.
and that moment is my moment.
Triumphant moment.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's
So-
my moment.
We got to close the show, but I know we have a game coming up. You said it's on was it the 15th of November?
15.
Okay.
The 15, Truman Borden.
And that's against Guadeloupe.
Against Guadeloupe. Come and support your team. Come and support your players.
This will be the first time the Cayman Islands is playing in
In a play-in with
the
direct
next division.
possibility to qualify to a Gold Cup. This is the highest that we have reached
Ever in history.
ever in history.
So we got to come out as a country, as a nation to
We have to
support.
come out and support. And
November 15th, Truman Bottom.
Yes.
Okay,
And
got it. I'll be there.
Before leaving and close off,
Mm-hmm.
I would like to give thanks to Miss Jane, the governor of the Cayman Islands. She always pending on what the team is doing, how the team is performing.
Oh, thank you to Her Excellency.
Her Excellency, she is very passionate about football. Our Minister of Sports and our Director, Dalton Watler, they also had been tremendous in helping. And of course, the Honorable Juliana Connolly, that is a football person.
Yes.
And she always there for us. So
Awesome.
thanks to them and to the ministers that always come and support the national team. We give them thanks.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for joining us, and everybody have a happy Halloween.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market, experience a world of choice. And by JGP Janitorial, lose the mop, they'll clean the slop. JGP Janitorial, 548-1221.
Cover me, Little Cayman Bride. Cover me.
Radio